Hello, everybody. A very good morning to all of you. Uh, Today, we are going to talk about um, a writer who is a prolific author and has gained fame as an Indian English writer. He is more popular as a partition writer, one of his famous novels being Train to Pakistan. Yes, I know can understand whom we are going to talk about today. It is Khushwant Singh. So, apart from partition, this writer has also written about various other streams of life. One of them being generation gap. Yes, and in one of his short stories known as The Portrait of a Lady, he has wonderfully sketched the two lives of a child and a grandmother. And if you look into it, you will see that it's a first person narrative. That is, the entire narrative is written in first person. So, probably the author is talking about his own childhood and the relation between uh, his, his grandmother and himself. So you will find that there are two stages of life that the author is talking about in this narrative. He is talking about childhood and after that, adolescence. So you will understand that the childhood is spent in a rural background, in village, and the adolescence, that is the young adulthood, that is the time which you are going through, and it was spent in a urban background, an urban background where in city where the author comes to study in college. So it seems that when the author was small, a child, he was left in the village with his grandmother by his parents who came to the city to earn their living. And now, as the author had completed school, and now that he has grown up, he has come to the city to study in a college. And the other thing which is very important and very significant in this story is that there is a drastic or sudden change in the bonding or relation between the author and his grandmother in this story. While in the village, we see that the author resides with his grandmother. He's a small child and he resides with his grandmother, and the grandmother takes care of the author. I mean, she's the guardian, she's the author's guardian. And when we are students, we don't have any other work in life other than studying, right? I mean, the majority of our time we indulge ourselves in studying. So, grandmother also, the author's grandmother, you will find that she has also involved herself in this academic life. The grandmother, she packs the bag for the author in the morning. She covers the slate with a yellow chalk for the author. She prepares the tiffin for the author, and that also she accompanies the author to school. She accompanies the author to school, and you will find that adjacent to the school there is a temple. So while the author is studying at school, the grandmother is chanting hymns in the temple, waiting for the author. And this is probably a scenario you will find in present day also. At present day also, our parents or grandparents, they wait outside the school for us. This especially right in case of junior children, where the parents, the mother or the father or the grandparents, they wait outside the school until the bell rings and the school is over. So here also the grandmother used to wait outside the school, and incidentally there was a temple outside the school where grandmother used to spend her time until the school was over. And she also had a very friendly relationship with the street dogs over there. She used to, gather stale chapatis of the previous day, which she used to, give to the stray dogs on the streets on the way to school. And while she used to bathe the author, she used to chant hymns, which she made the author also to memorize. But this is one thing which the author did not like. This is one thing that the author had a distaste for. But since his grandmother forced him to learn it, he had to learn it. So this was the life in the rural background in the village, where the only guardian of the author was grandmother. So probably he had to obey the grandmother. Now the author had then completed his school, and now there was a shift from rural to urban background. So now in urban background, that is now in, in city life, they used to live in a house where they all had their own rooms. They had their own rooms, and the author and the grandmother did not meet each other very often. The author was busy with his college life, and the grandmother used to keep her occupied with various things which are quite similar to his lifestyle, to her lifestyle in the village. She used to count the beads of the garland. She used to chant hymns. So this is where you will observe or identify that there are changes, from stage to stage in our lives. But often you will find that our grandparents, they are not changing. There's not quite change in my grandmother, particularly. Um, Throughout the last 12 years that I am residing with her, I have come from college to my profession, and there has been a lot of change in my life. But grandmother, I find her clad in a white sari, and she lives that routine life which she used to live 12 years earlier also. So there is no change in her life, though there is a change in my life. So this is what happens in case of the author and his grandmother also. And that these changes occur in our lives are often liked or disliked by our grandparents. You will find that the author, after he had come to city and after he had joined his college, he had started learning music. He has started learning music, which was one of the distastes of the grandmother. She did not want the grandson to learn music. She has had a distaste for music. So this is what I was talking about just a few couple of minutes ago. That though we reside under one roof, the three generations, we, our parents, and our grandparents, we have our individual tastes, individual likes and dislikes. All right, but there is something called adjustment, which enables us reside under one roof, though, in spite of having different likes and dislikes. So, this is a wonderful milieu that happens in each and every household, I personally feel nowadays. So, however, as she had, as the grandmother had a soft corner for animals in a village also, as you know that she used to feed street dogs with stale chapati. Here also in the city, grandmother has grown an affection with the sparrows. As she spreads grains in the veranda, the sparrows gather, uh, they assemble there to peck at the granules, um, at the grains. Yes. So here, though she has been, introduced to a new life which she was not familiar to earlier, she has adjusted herself with this new life, that she has got a room of her own, that she has been detached with her grandson, which was very hard for her to digest or to swallow, but she has adjusted with the new life, with the sparrows, with the counting of beads in the garland. She has occupied herself with many activities. And as we see that, as we know that slowly and gradually our hair grows gray, so it was a time when, yes, another thing is that the grandmother had also grown a very friendly, affectionate relationship with the neighbors. As she used to chant hymns, many of the neighbors who were interested in chanting hymns used to gather at the author's residence in the city, and the grandmother used to spend her time with them also. So one day it happened like this, that the grandmother had asked all of the neighbors to gather, and she started playing the drum and chanting hymns. And she could understand that her end was nearing. And suddenly, after after a few hours or minutes, she it was her last breath that she had breathed. And you will find very interestingly that after she breathed her last breath, all the sparrows had gathered at the veranda, and probably they had also understood her absence, that she was no more. Probably they were also expressing their sorrow for the for the grandmother, that she was no more. She has left uh, those sparrows, who was once a very, for a very short span of time, was a very good friend of those sparrows. So somehow, I personally feel that things, certain things which we feel very petty or very simple or unimportant in our lives, could have become important in our lives if we would have given some importance to them, like the sparrows, like the stray dogs on the streets. We feel them, ignore them. A sparrow sitting on the grill of my veranda. I don't pay much heed to it. But this grandmother and many other human beings, for that matter of sake, they find importance in petty things in life, and therefore it does not become very difficult for us, for them, uh, if they have found some enjoyment in simple things in life, to find enjoyment in life. You can find enjoyment in life if you get involved with petty things also. It does not have to be a film running in front, or it does not have to be a video game, or, say, for example, eating outside. Simple things can also make your life very beautiful. This is one example that the grandmother had probably set in front of us. And what is very poignant and very significant in this story is the drastic change in the relationship between the grandmother and the author, that's a grandchild or grandson. That you will find that in village life, that is when the author was a child, since I said that that grandmother was the only guardian, he had to obey whatever grandmother said. He had to chant the hymns while grandmother bathed him. He had to memorize the hymns also. But now that he has come to uh, a city, and now that he is an adolescent, adolescents are young adults. So when you become a young adult, you need some independence of your own. So the author also had the independence of taking his own decision in life, and he had decided to take music lessons, which was not liked by the grandmother, and that he had music lessons and his own room. So there was not a lot of interaction between the two, unlike in village. So this is how the relationship or the bonding between the two became thinner and looser and weaker. And the story ends in the grandmother's death. So this is somewhere I feel personally that the bonding should be very strong, because otherwise, because unless it is very strong, till the last day we spend with each other, I mean we spend with our grandparents, we will be left in bereavement. So thank you for now. Thank you so much.